Shalom. First and foremost, Wahallah, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Rafakwadash. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone at Ruwell. And peace and salutations to the Yakim out there on the highways and byways, noising this road abroad, all around the world. You know, as you can see, you know, prophecy is here. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Prophecy is here. The prophecy that we've been prophesying about is here. You know, we've been prophesying that America will be fallen. You know, we are prophesying that there's going to be anarchy, confusion, you know, people in dire straits, and it's here. You know, you got 3.3 million people out of work right now. The unemployment rate is high, you know, and we've been prophesying that these bad times will start happening, and they're here, you know. Now you got these scoffers and you got these scorners wanting answers, but we already gave you the answers going back, you know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when things were honky-donkey, everything was going fine, you know. Y'all laughed, y'all scoffed, you know. Y'all made fun of us. Y'all said we were crazy, you know. Y'all looked at us like we had 4 or 5 heads. But now what you got to say now? What is it that you got to say now? You ain't got a damn thing to say now. You know? Because what happened back then is history is repeating itself. You know? So history is definitely repeating itself. You know? So So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 37. And it reads, "But as the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage until the day that Noah entered into ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So what happened in the time of Noah was that, you know, the earth was so wicked, indulged in wickedness and debauchery. What happened was the Most High spoke to Noah and told him and commanded him to build an ark, you know, and to build an ark. So Noah was out there as he was building that ark, you know, as he was getting like the 2 animals together to enter in the ark, you know, to replenish the earth. You know, he was also prophesying back then that a flood was going to come and take away the and destroy the earth. What did the people do? They laughed, they scoffed, they mocked Noah, they made fun of him. You know, back then they didn't see no rain. There was no such thing as rain back then, you know. It was dew that came out of the earth and that watered the earth, you know. That's how the earth was watered and replenished, you know. There was no such thing as rain coming from the sky or nothing like that. You know, that was unheard of back then. But when he was out there telling them bonehead, you know, them bonehead people out there that this was coming, they laughed, they scoffed, they mocked him, they said he was crazy, you know. But in these times, right now in America, you know, the same thing is happening all over again, because everything is reincarnated, you know. Back when there was no evil days, you know, back then when everything seemed to be all good, you know, people laughed, they mocked us, they said we were crazy. But now we're in that time, you know, we're in the time where prophecy is getting ready to happen, you know. Then when the flood finally came and they started to see the rain coming from the skies, that's when they wanted to pay attention. That's when they wanted to take heed. But it was already too late back then. Likewise, you know, for these other people out here, you know, these scoffers, you know. Here it is, we were out there telling you that these things were coming to pass, telling you about the ship, telling you about martial law, you know, telling you all about these things, and now they're here, you know. Now they're here. So what are you going to do now? Huh? What are you going to do now? What do you got to say now? You ain't got a damn thing to say. You know? You ain't got nothing to say right now. And for many of y'all, it's already too late. You know? For many of y'all scoffers, it's already too late. Because we've been out here, we've been telling you, we've been warning you about these upcoming events, and now they're finally here. And they're only going to get worse, you know. It's going to come to a point. There's already no food in these grocery stores, you know. Food is running very short, you know. There's limited supplies of food, you know. And it's just only getting worse. This is only the beginning, you know. It's going to come to a point where this thing is going to be in full-fledged, full-blown, you know. Then what? Then what you got to do then? You ain't, you know, you what you gonna do then when this thing is in full blown? When this thing is fully set, you know? You ain't gonna be able to do anything then, you know? So reading on. Because we've been telling you for years that these things was coming to pass, and now they're here. Now what you gonna do? You know? The evil days are here. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1. And it reads, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." You know? So the scripture says, remember the Creator, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, you know. You're supposed to, you know, still give the Lord praise and still praise and think about the Lord while the evil days are not here, you know. It's only when some catastrophe or something major happens, that's when people want to get serious. That's when people want to turn to the Lord and try to find out truth, you know? Like, for example, 9/11. When 9/11 took place, the sales of Bibles went through the roof, you know? And the elder apostles, you know, they were getting all kind of hits, you know, on their websites. You know, now people want to listen when something happens. But where were you when these times were here, you know? Where were you when these times were taking place? You know, where were you? Where were you, you know? Where was your thoughts about the Lord when everything was all good and well, you know? But after a few years that passed, people went back to sleep. You know, they went back to doing their wickedness, their evil, you know, and all the madness that they were doing, you know. People went back to doing their evil and their wickedness. But now that, you know, here it is again, you know, while we're in evil times, now people want to get serious with it. Now people want to turn to the Lord, you know. For many of y'all, it's already too late, you know. Even though there's going to be some brothers that are going to come in the last hour, but for many of y'all people that scoffed, that laughed at us, that made fun of us, the Most High has your number. You know, the angels got you marked, you know. The angels got you marked on that death list, you know. But yeah, y'all Shala, you know, y'all brothers out there that's tuning in. I'm gonna just continue the session in the car, you know, due to the volume of the wind that's out here that's blowing over the camera and stuff like that. But I'll be back momentarily, you know. We'll finish this up in the car. But I just want to say shalom. But I'll be back, you know. Stay tuned.